So let's get started. All right, cool. So I got this presentation to go over with you guys. So let's get this show on the road. All right, welcome guys. So I'm Juan Pablo, and today I'm going to be speaking about how I became a financially free multi-unit real estate investor after the 2008 crash. The reason why I'm bringing this up because not to say we're going to get into a crash, but as you can tell, some people are suffering not just physically, but economically, financially, what's going on right now with the coronavirus, right? So there may be people who might be in a dire situation, right? So I want to be able to provide some content of how you could potentially come out with a win when this is all said and done. All right. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm also going to be talking about my secret untapped method, which provided me with another stream of income to become financially free, another stream to the point it could replace my paycheck to quit my day job. So this is a disclaimer. So it's not legal advice. So I do not offer legal advice. Always CYA, always consult your attorney. All right, cool. So welcome to the party, guys. I appreciate you guys joining. So let's see who we have in here. So do we have any real estate investors in here already? I see we have Instagram over here. I see we have Facebook over here and YouTube. So hopefully you guys are some real estate investors practicing it, getting some deals closed. You might have some wholesalers in here, which is great. Wholesaling, you get a deal on the contract, and you assign it to another end buyer. I'll be perfect. So we do have a full house today. And my question is, who's open to the wealth transfer? Right? That's pretty much the main way wealth gets transferred, right? It gets transferred as a result of some type of economic downturn. It typically happens. I was just talking about Zoom jokingly a few moments ago, but who knows? They could be part of that wealth transfer. And my goal for you is to be part of that wealth transfer as well. All right. And you also have me, I'm Juan Pablo, I'm a real estate investor, and I'm a huge advocate of learning. I actually did a training this morning with some of my wholesalers. Because you definitely have to continue to train your staff and just to make sure they're sharp. And we were talking about that, like investing in your learning. And I was sharing with them, like, hey, like you can. The goal is how can I do more with less, right? How can I get more bang for my buck by not necessarily working long hours or working extremely hard? Because in my personal opinion, working hard is the penalty you have to pay for not working smart. So why not work smart to see how you can do more with less? And I told them, hey, the only way you can do this is by being a constant learner. You got to learn, guys. And me personally, I spent over $18,000 in my personal training. So just so I can be sharp and know the ins and outs of real estate investing, business, soft skills, personal development, the whole 9 yards. And by the way, and I share, we might be in some uncertain times, right? Tough times, but tough times don't have to be tough for you. It's that simple. You can choose to participate in it or not. You don't have to be an active participant. It's your choice, right? And I'm definitely here for all the people who are real estate investors or who happen to have pretty credit, 720, or who happen to have some capital. Even those who don't, right? And when you start making like some progress, even though it might be small, minute, the key thing is celebrate your success. Give yourself a pat on the back. Because oftentimes, as business people, investors, real estate investors, entrepreneurs, there's no one above us to give us a pat on the back and say, way to go. I don't know the last time I heard that, right? Because I don't have a supervisor. I don't have a boss. And I want you to get to that level as well. So you celebrate your own success. You turn up with your family, friends, and loved ones. And a question, who's in here used their services before and got results? Does anyone in here use their services and got results? Okay. All right, cool. Seeing some of the comments now. That's good. And how many real estate investors, I would say most recent real estate investors, who closed on the deal within the past 24 months? Past 24 months. All right. And who here has a pretty credit score of 720? All right. See you. And how many people in here check their credit on a monthly basis? That's important too, right? And how many of you guys would like to have pretty credit? Pretty credit, I like to call that like the Holly Berry credit. So fine, look pretty to the banks. Give you a number about 720 FICO score higher. Now, let me ask you this question. How many people here in this party would like to have at least one deal close within the next 12 to 24 months? All right, I see a lot of people raising their hands in there. Excellent. So let's get into what you learned today, right? So first off, this is no fluff and it works if you work it. I get that all the time. Hey, well, does this really work? Well, if you work it, or are you going to actually put it to use? That's the thing. Are you going to stick with it, or are you going to have burning desire? That's important. And and you're also going to learn how economic downturn helped me get into the real estate investment game. I got in post the crash. My first deal was in 2010, right? So it was actually a benefit for me at that time. Also, why you should entertain using 100% financing. Getting a deal financed using little to none of your own capital. And also, what is 100% finance? I just gave you the definition there, and how you can get started becoming a real estate investor. Right, that's the purpose of this webinar. It's not that difficult, guys. Not saying that it's not easy. It is simple. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not saying it's not easy, because it does require some work, right? And we're also going to discuss the 4 cornerstones of learning, so you learn about that, and we'll go over some bonus. So with the bonus stuff, towards the end, we're going to be going over the current state of the market in a certain time, like what's going on in the industry and the market. So you definitely want to stay tuned for the bonus aspect, okay, a little bit later. And also, there's other great opportunities for you that can benefit you to become financially free, have more passive income, become a real estate investor. All right, so for this webinar, I definitely don't want you to just be a viewer, be a doer. Meaning, I don't want you just to view it and then the next day, the next week, what have you, really good gems you might learn today fall by the wayside simply because you didn't write it down. So I definitely want you to be a student today in this webinar. Get your pen and pad ready and write this down. Hey, cool, man. Cool. Just reading the comments. Thank you guys for commenting. All right. So what I've learned personally, right? I'm going to share some of my personal experiences and my number one struggles, right? So this is what I've learned from a lot of people, even myself getting started. The first thing, I don't have enough capital or credit. People comment, people reach out to us, our clients, and that's like their number one struggle. I don't have enough money or credit. There's no affordable and safe multi-unit properties in my backyard. Like, hey, Juan, I got the money, I got the credit, but there's no multi-units. And there's someone like that in my backyard. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now. I'm in Midtown. And there's typically like a 2-unit building or a 200-unit apartment complex. There's not too many multi-unit, meaning a 10-unit, 20-unit, 8-unit, 6-unit, in which it's affordable and safe areas. So I understand exactly what you mean, but we're going to discuss solutions to that struggle in a few. No real estate agent will work with me. That's the number one struggle. It could be you don't have the right pitch, right? Because what do real estate agents care about? Credibility. Show me the money. Do you provide a proof of funds? We'll talk about that. And I don't know what makes a deal a deal. A lot of people don't know that. They want to become a real estate investor, but they really don't know how to analyze a deal. All right, they don't know the criteria. And some people have tried it, which I do applaud you. Great job for taking action. That's the first step, But some people struggle with, hey, I tried rentals, I tried wholesaling, I tried flipping, but I lost money, I lost interest, I got burnt out, etc. It happens, right? And I can't get financing without a personal guarantee. So that might be a struggle for you as well. And hopefully we'll be able to answer the majority of these things on today's webinar. I'm clueless about getting started, and I'm a little scared of investing out of state. I get it. I don't know how to get started, especially in these times. Okay. So hopefully we have enough time to cover all of these things, but it all starts with learning, right? You got to learn, baby. Got to learn. Speaking of learning, let's get into the 4 cornerstones of learning. So I'm not sure if you've heard of this before, but the first stage of learning is ignorance, right? You don't know which way is up. And that was me getting started. I'm like, well, should I wholesale? Should I flip? Should I do buy and hold? If I do buy and hold, should I do single family? Should I do multifamily? Should I do my backyard? Should I invest out of state in other markets? Should I use this financing versus that financing? I didn't know. You're ignorant. Ignorant just means lack of knowledge. You just don't know. We all get started that way, right? That's the point of joining these webinars. So congrats to you for joining this webinar so you can get to the second cornerstone of learning, which is awareness. Now you're becoming aware. Oh, wow, I know how to get started now. Oh, man, I know what market to invest in. Oh, I know what kind of deals I should target. oh man, I know more about how to finance this deal. I know how to analyze this property. I know how to perform due diligence. You become aware. But then the third cornerstone of learning is application. So once you've acquired the knowledge, it's now time for you to implement what you've learned. In my opinion, that's the definition of wisdom. You heard the adage before, well, knowledge is power. Yeah, it's only powerful if it's applied knowledge. I don't want you to watch this webinar, my friend, and be a career student. I want action out of you, action. And then last, the fourth, and to me, the most powerful cornerstone is automation. Automation. Automation is, okay, I've learned how to buy properties. Great, I know how to do it. Let me see how I can scale this by having systems and teams automated so it doesn't demand my time. Hence, I said earlier about wholesaling, right? It's somewhat different from what we're talking about now. But I was talking to my wholesale team earlier today around 2:30 Eastern. And again, I have a team, so I was teaching them the system of wholesaling, you know, just to sharpen their edge so they can get better at doing more with less, right? And that's to the point where I want to get all you guys who listen today to the point where you automate this model, okay? It's possible. You can do it. So here's my question. What cornerstone do most beginners stop at? If you can place in the comments, what cornerstone do you think most beginners stop at? You think they stop at ignorance, awareness, application, or automation? Okay. I see a few about awareness, application. Good, good. In my opinion, I think most people stop at application, right? They become aware, but when it comes to actually putting the pedal to the metal, or is it how you say it? Pedal to the metal? You get it. When it comes to actually putting it into use, into practice, that's where they fall short. Now, my question is this, a follow-up question. If that is true, that most people don't move forward to the application stage, how can you prevent it? How can you prevent from just being stuck in automation, in awareness? In my opinion, the way I don't get stuck is by having an accountability partner. It's just like New Year's resolutions. You want to lose weight? What's one of the first things people do? They get a gym membership and they find a personal trainer or a workout buddy. Just someone who can be there, letting them know, hey, I'm here to get results. And that personal trainer is like, okay, cool, you want to get results? Do another push-up, even when you don't feel like it. Hey, get that done on the way, slap it out your hand, right? You need someone like that in your life to make sure that you do it. And a calendar, right? Making sure you get these constant reminders of what you need to do. And that's what I do. And by the way, if you learn more, you earn more. And that's what I share with my team. I say, hey, the goal is to do more with less. So that way you make room for even more, right? But if you continue to learn to sharpen your skill set, you will earn more money. Learning equals earning, right? And what's the difference between a teacher and a coach? Let's see what you guys got. All right, so main difference is this. A teacher, they'll provide you with an assignment and they just grade it, pass or fail, right? A teacher is behind a whiteboard, letting you know what to do, and that's it. A coach, on the other hand, is with you in the game. They're on the sidelines. They'll teach you how to make that layup. They'll teach you how to analyze that deal, right? They'll teach you how to get that capital. That's the difference. So my goal is to be the coach, not the teacher. You know what else a coach does that's different from a teacher? A coach will get in your face, right? A coach don't mind yelling at you because the coach job is sometimes on the line, right? If you have a teacher and a student passes, oh well. But if a coach has a couple players in that winning games, that coach's job is on the line. So it's the same thing. Having an interest in your success to the point like, hey, if you don't succeed, that makes me look bad, right? So make sure you have a vested interest. And by the way, you're not going to learn all this in about an hour, hour and a half. So make sure you see our programs, take action. And let me get to you about my story before we get into the meat and potatoes. So about me, I'm a published author. I have a book, Quit Your Day Job. You can check it out on Amazon.com. Quit Your Day Job. It's been updated fairly recently and expanded after what's going on in the market. I've been financially free after 4 years of investing in real estate. So I started investing when I was 26, and by 30 years old, no longer need a day job. So it's been great. It's fun being financially free. Keynote speaker as well. Do speaking engagements, acquired over 72 units for buy and hold purposes. I've also helped investors acquire over 1,000 units in 2 years. So that's that for cornerstones of learning, the automation. So once we're able to automate our systems and our processes, we're able to help other investors like yourself obtain multi-unit properties. I flipped about 8 properties for profit. So I'm not a big flipper. I never really been a big fan of it. I've done a couple just to get my feet wet to cut my teeth, but I'm a huge fan of multi-unit properties. And close on a wholesale deal this Friday, right? So I'm excited. I have a wholesale deal this Friday, even though what's going on in today's world. And got another one under contract this week as well. So that's just exciting. Just having multiple different streams of income. And that's what you want to do. The average millionaire has more than one stream of income, right? And I like to keep my streams of income relating to one central industry, which is real estate. Whether that's writing about real estate as a published author, speaking about real estate as a keynote speaker, obtaining real estate for buy and hold, wholesaling real estate, flipping, that's my thing, right? Most streams of income is all about one thing, real estate, okay? And owner of a 7-figure online business, 100percentfinance.com, okay? And a mentor, that hence the pen name, the People's Mentor, okay? So my story, who was Juan Pablo, that's who I to share with you who I am, but this is who I was. After the crash in 2008, I received a part of that stimulus package, which most of you have as well. And I was looking to buy my first house as a duplex using FHA. And I got that 8,000, I think it was around 8,000 tax credit on the duplex. Some of you guys might be familiar with that. After you bought your first house during that time, you received a tax credit as a result. And during this time, I became a content junkie, right? That's what I said. I invested a lot of my learning. I was pretty much a nerd. When I wasn't working, I was just reading and studying all day long. I wanted to know everything there was to know about real estate, about financing as well. Because many people don't talk about that online. That's the thing that I don't get. They talk about real estate, about how to eyeball a property to see what the repair costs are, which is great. Don't get me wrong, not being negative there. But you also got to think about, well, how did you finance that property? How are you going to finance it? How are you going to get the capital? How do you work the numbers? Right? It's very important. After the crash, the interest rates were at an all-time low. Some of you guys may remember that. They were like, correct me if I'm wrong, what, 3%, 4% on investment properties, 4.25%. It was extremely cheap, right? And I just had to make sure that I was able to qualify for this cheap financing. But when I initially wanted to get started, I couldn't. Why? I had bad credit. I did. My credit was bad. I graduated from college. I paid myself through college, and I had a choice: buy books, pay rent, pay credit cards. I chose the former, right? And so I had to repair my credit, right? Which was ended up being a blessing in disguise. Ended up learning how to do credit repair, right? So it was actually a great thing. Every cloud has a silver lining. So I got credit repair to the point where I had a good enough credit to qualify for FHA. I think it was around a 620 FICO score, credit score. And this is one of my philosophies, right? I was asked this question earlier about, hey, when's the best time to buy real estate and what market? And this is one of the things my mentor shared with me. He said, hey, whether it's an up market, a down market, if the market is sideways, stagnant, whatever, it doesn't matter. You buy real estate in any market. So where I'm getting to is a belief system. That's why I said, like, all this crazy stuff that's going on right now in certain times, you can choose to participate in it or not. It's all mental. It's all a mental attitude. It's all based upon your belief system, right? It's the same thing with making money. It's the same thing with buying properties. It's the same thing with financial freedom. Don't just think, oh man, there's a crash. Oh man, there's an economic downturn. Oh man, there's so much uncertainty. I can never accomplish my goals. I can't acquire multi-unit properties. That's not true. These things that are happening now are just facts. The fact is temporal, it's subject to change. However, the truth is eternal. As long as you believe in that truth that you're successful, you're prosperous, you have abundance, it don't matter what market you're in, my friend. You get it done. So when you buy real estate, you buy real estate in any market. Okay. And that's what I'm here to share with you today. So I've discovered 100% financing when I was an injured BFC. You might be thinking, what's the BFC? That's a broke, frustrated chump. And I'm speaking on my behalf, right? I was broke. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was making good money working for the government. That was my day job when I lived in New York. But it wasn't enough for me to buy a property, right? On one property that I purchased, it took me it took me about a year to 2 years to save up $20,000. Right? That's way too long, right? So just to share my story, and I was broke. I was frustrated because I was overworked, underpaid. My boss telling me what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and so forth. And I was a chump, because this is why I say I was a chump, being critical about myself, right? I'm my own worst critic. I was a chump because I would complain and complain and complain and did little to nothing for change. Right? It's powerful, right? Let that sink in. So that's why I say I was a BFC, but I was injured. So coming from New York, I went to Atlanta, where I'm at now. I relocated back here in Atlanta. So I visited Atlanta to visit, family and friends, and I love playing basketball. So I went to go play basketball with my friends, and I ruptured, completely detached, like ouch, right? My left Achilles tendon, and I ended up flying back with that ruptured tendon back to the New York area, and found out that I need surgery. Got the surgery, couldn't walk for 2 months. And it was demoralizing because about a month prior, I just closed on a 4 unit, and I presented it to my mentor in the group, the networking group I was involved in. And he said, "Oh, Eric, tell me about the numbers." So I shared the numbers. He's like, "Cool. So how many units you need? How much cash flow you need to quit your job, Juan?" And I said, "Well, I need about $2,000 more in cash flow." I had 7 units at the time. This is my 4th year of investing. And my goal was to quit my job at 30, and I was 29. I said, "Well, I have 7 units. I need about 2,000 more in cash flow." He said, "That's it? That's easy." I'm like, "That's easy." He's like, "Yeah, just get a 10 unit, assuming the cash flow is $200 a unit." And I was like, "Bro, that is not easy. It took me 4 years to get 3 units. You tell me it's easy to get 10 units in 1 year?" And I immediately arrested my thought. I said, if 2 or 3 agree it's touching, anything else would be done unto them. I said, well, who am I to think the opposite of him? He's telling me it's easy and I can do it. I'm like, he believes in me and I don't believe in myself, because I'm so focused on the facts. In other words, the current circumstances. And so I said, you know what? I can't think like that way. And I got one of my favorite books, read it multiple times, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Some of you guys might be familiar with that book. And I got that book, went to Atlanta, as I shared, got the injury. I'm at home, foot propped up. So I started cracking open the book, just start reading. And then it hit me. I need to stop thinking like a self-employed person. Because at the time, buying those units the 7 units in 4 years, I was the guy doing everything. As I shared, I was the one doing all the application. Nothing was automated. So I was doing everything from sweeping the front porch to finding tenants to evicting tenants, getting them late notices, raising my capital through savings, looking at deals all over on the internet. I was doing a whole 9 yards. No wonder it took me 4 years to get 7 units, right? That was slow. So some of you might be thinking about, man, that'd be great if I can get that. Well, trust me, once you start learning the process, as I said, you become aware, you apply, you automate it. Easy peasy. You should be ashamed if you get only 7 units in 4 years, right? So I had a shift in my mindset. I adopted the entrepreneurial mindset. And I realized an entrepreneur focuses on the automation. They focus on leverage. How can I leverage capital? Doesn't have to be my capital. Doesn't have to be my hard-earned savings. Maybe I can raise the capital through private money. Maybe I can obtain the capital through business credit. Maybe I can attain the capital through seller financing. And if I create systems, processes, and get them documented, I can hire other people, being that I have cash flow coming in, to automate these tasks so I don't have to. So I can focus my time on things that give me the most results. Again, doing more with less. Right? So it's all about leverage, systems, and teams. To the point that year, I didn't get 10 units, I got 21 units. So I think in all, I was at 30 units by 30 years old. Amazing, right? So it's 30 by 30. Okay. Does this stuff make sense? I just want to make sure this is sinking in, right? I want to share where I'm at now to who I once was. As a share bad credit, didn't know which way was up, didn't know how to get started, faced a lot of hardship and so forth, but it's doable, my friend. It's all about your mindset. Would you like to learn more? Would you like to learn more? I'm sure you do. All right, let's get into it. So let's get started. So you might be thinking, well, hey, Juan, which strategy should I use? And how do I get started? We're about to get into that now. So the buy and hold strategy. The buy and hold strategy is where you buy a multi-unit property and you're holding on to it for cash flow. So some of these strategies can be used in combinations with others, like wholesaling, right? You might say, hey, Juan, is it possible to combine wholesaling with multi-units? Yeah. If you're able to have a wholesale campaign or business in which you're either driving for dollars, you're sending out direct mail, you're getting lists from list source, for example, and you're reaching out to the seller directly, you're cutting out the middleman. You might be able to cut out a real estate agent and meet directly with the seller so you can get more meat on the bone. So does that mean, Juan, that you don't work with agents? Absolutely not. You want to have like multiple fishing poles in many different areas. That's how you want to do it. And that's how I do it. I want to make sure, hey, if I can reach out to sellers directly, cool. If it's still a good deal with an agent, cool. If it's still a good deal with another wholesaler, then cool. Use a combination. Okay, so you can definitely use that, right? So that's the strategy I'm going to be speaking about today. Primarily buy and hold, but I do have a special bonus towards the end, right? I kind of like hinted at it by saying it, but trust me, you definitely want to wait. So for the first two items on the next slide, which you'll see in a few moments, we'll cover 80 to 90% of the financing. I'm about to share that with you. The other can vary, the other 10 to 20%. All right, and by the way, my friend, no matter what strategy you use, you must convert a hobby to a business. So this is what happened with me, my transformation, right? I was working for the government and I was doing surveys for the United States Census Bureau. I was a supervisor. And I said, you know what? Let me create an incentive for my team. I created a contest. And I said, hey, whoever gets the most surveys done in a week, I'll treat you out to Applebee's 2 for 20. It's on me. Plus, I give you a certificate of appreciation and an umbrella that's in our janitorial closet that has our logo on it. You can have it. Send out the mass email, got some good feedback, and guess what? Our response rate, our results were through the roof because they were incentivized. Day 8, I get called into the office, and my supervisor's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, getting results. Ain't that what it looked like? Just joking. She said, this is no laughing matter. Don't you know who you work for? You work for the government. There's policies, procedures. You just can't incentivize people like that. I'm writing you up. It's going in your file. And by the way, maybe the government isn't for you. That hurt. I felt dejected. And I thought I should have been congratulated because I got the results. And so I'm, pissed off. I'm upset. I go back into my cubicle. I'm mad. And I realized, you know what? She just gave me the best advice I've ever received. Maybe it's not for me. And maybe I should stop treating this real estate investing thing as a hobby, because I would watch videos, I would listen to audiobooks, I would also listen to podcasts, I would read physical books, I would network here and there, but it was a hobby and I didn't treat it like a business. I said, let me treat this as if this is a small business and let me go to work. I had that mind, my mind was shifted. It was a paradigm shift. Okay. So definitely want you to stick to the end of this webinar. There's another strategy, virtual wholesaling. So that's the bonus, right? Because I know a lot of people are thinking, well, I need to raise some capital now, Juan. Or you know what? I don't need to have more than one source of income, like you said, right? You said you write books, you said you do speaking engagements, you said you did wholesaling, you got to buy whole properties, you have an online company. I want to be able to start doing that as well. Stick to the end, and I'll share some information on that. And by the way, guys, I understand as a result of just being human and doing these webinars for several years now, 30% of people will take action, 70% will not. 30% will be committed and want freedom over security. The ones who take action and will make more. And at the end, you'll have that opportunity. All right, so show me the money. So the first course of action, I reached out to many agents and wholesalers and they didn't want to find me deals. So this is me getting started. I'm like, hey, what's up, agent? Hey, what's up, wholesalers? None of them want to work with me. Why? They didn't find me credible. Why? I didn't provide them with proof that I have money. Not saying that you do, but proof, right? Because that's what I used to do. If someone had a bank statement, for example, hey, can you provide me a copy of the bank statement? Just black out all the account numbers and so forth, the names, and I'll use that to convince agents and wholesalers to work with me. Like, hey, my partners and I have the money. Here's the bank statement. But hey, the numbers are blacked out, the names are blacked out because you're not a mortgage lender or whatever. You're an agent, you're a wholesaler. It's just showing you my credibility. And I just want to make sure I keep my investors' information confidential. See, it's that simple, right? And it's like, okay, cool, I want to work with you. And I make sure that I have the money to move forward with the deal because you don't want to waste people's times. So no one wants to find you deals without proof of funds or credibility. And if you don't have stellar credit or what have you, there's still ways to work around it. You can use low doc mortgages, hence the word low doc. We have a lot of wholesalers who want to move forward buying whole properties, multi-unit properties, but they wholesale. They might not have W-2s, 1099s, and so forth. Low doc mortgage, low documentation. You can use hard money, right? Hard money is a mortgage product in which they'll give you money to buy and fix it up as long as it has enough built-in equity or ARV in the deal, okay? And it's hard money, it's called that because sometimes the terms are hard, meaning the interest rate might be higher than conventional mortgages. And you can also use business credit for proof of funds, okay? And with residential mortgages, if you move forward with that, most oftentimes they give you a pre-qualification which you can use to show credibility to agents and wholesalers. And if you're working with a commercial lender, let's say you're able to qualify for a big deal, let's say a 10 unit, whatever, 20 unit, whatever your concept of big is, typically they don't provide pre-qualification letters. So you might be thinking, well, how do you pitch deals to, or how do you pitch wholesalers and agents to work with you if a commercial mortgage lender doesn't give you any type of proof of funds or any type of pre-qualification letter? Easy. I asked them to vouch for me. Hey, send me an email, lender. Let's say it's the VP of lending. Hey, can you just send me an email, let them know that I somewhat qualify, but you care more about the property. And by the way, with commercial properties, they care a lot more about the property. Okay. The only thing is they want to make sure you have experience. And so I just use that email and just forward it to the agent. And I say, hey, you see the person's contact information at the bottom and the signature, just reach out to them. They'll vouch for me. All right. And this is the thing that happened to me getting started. I tried getting private money because I didn't have any money. And when I tried obtaining private money, raising the capital, guess what? They said no. They said, why? You have no experience. You have no deals. And I'm like, it's the private money catch-22. I'm like, I need your money as a private lender so I can do deals. But it's like, I can't do any deals because I don't got any money. I'm like, what do I do? Right? So it was a catch-22. Does this stuff make sense? Does this make sense? Okay, cool. It makes sense? I'm not going too fast? It's kind of cool, right? I got my logo on the cup. It was for one of our events. We made a lot of cups and stuff like that. Cool. You want to learn more? Let's get to it. So now we're getting to the bread and butter, guys. The 4 phases of the cash flow cycle. Because it's a cycle that I've used and I've developed to wash, rinse, and repeat this every 6 months. So that way it's manageable, as I share, at a full-time job. right? I wasn't a full-time real estate investor. So I had to make sure I can automate the process so I can keep repeating it over and over and over. And that's what I'm about to share with you right now. So the first phase, now, if you haven't done so already, get your pen and pad. The first phase is find the money. Residential mortgages. A residential mortgage is anything from 1 to 4 units, okay? They cover around 80% of the purchase price, 80%. Of course, it can vary. It just depends. Sometimes it's 75%, what have you. Just give you like basic round numbers. So it covers around 80% of the purchase price. And my question to you is, how many of you are qualified for a residential mortgage? Well, you wouldn't know until you applied, right? So it's important to reach out to a professional, see you qualify. Now, how many of you don't know? It's the same thing with me. I realized I wanted to become a real estate investor. And I'm like, well, Juan, you just can't just sit there. You got to reach out to people. Okay. All right. So this is pretty much just some simple and plain things that most mortgage lenders want to obtain from you. They want to see what your credit score is, your debt to income, and proof of income. Okay. Amongst other things, those are like the 3 things they look for to qualify you for a mortgage. Credit score. So you might be thinking, well, I want them to run my credit. Great. What I did is, if you check out 100pfcreditcheck.com and you sign up, you get your credit report. It's like $1 to sign up. 100pf credit score, creditcheck.com, 100pfcreditcheck.com. If you go there, get your credit score, and I send it to them like, hey, here's a copy of my credit report. I know you use your own system to run my credit, but I just wanted to look at mine to see what are the odds of me actually getting qualified. And if so, if I am qualified, then I move forward. Okay, and they can calculate your DTI by asking you questions and proof of income, such as tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, W-2, 1099, things like that. Now, seller financing. Seller financing covers 10% of the purchase price. So if you're buying a 5-unit for $100,000, mortgage will cover $80,000, and the seller can hold back a second mortgage for $10,000. So that means you just got to bring 10% or $10,000 to the table. Now, this is the kicker here. Seller financing is only applicable for 5 units and up, not 1 to 4 units, only with commercial mortgages. But this is another kicker, a kicker on top of the kicker, right? You must have experience for commercial. Experience, what do you mean? Most commercial mortgage lenders are local. They're portfolio lenders. They lend out of their own portfolio. So they don't have to listen to Fannie and Freddie, the secondary mortgage markets, okay? So I'm bringing that up to make a point. They're using their own cash to play with. So if they're not backed by the secondary mortgage market, right, they want to make sure that you have experience, because they don't want to give you financing on a 100-unit apartment complex, even though you may have the money for it. But if you don't have the experience or someone that you partner with the experience, they'll have reservations with giving you that financing. Does that make sense? That's how they are. They want to make sure you have experience. So what we do, we have a program called the MAP, the Multi-Unit Acquisition Program. We say, okay, cool. So you might have to just crawl before you can run, or walk before you can run. Get the 4-unit. Get the experience. Use residential to get a 4-unit. You have the experience. And then once you have that experience, and if you have the money to go with it as well, then for your next deal, you might want to go bigger and use commercial. For your next deal, you might want to use seller financing with that commercial mortgage. Same thing happened with me. As I shared, my first 4 years of investing, I had 7 units, a duplex, a single family, and then a 4-unit. Those are all residential. So after I gained the experience, that's when I obtained those multiple units, because I went bigger. Does that make sense? All right, cool. So now for the latter, down payment and so forth, you can use business credit. That's a business credit cards. So I'll share with you my homies, my money team, my silent partners. There's a stack here. Okay, it's just not the stack that's in my wallet, but these are the ones that can't fit in my wallet. right? It's a thick stack of credit cards, right? So you can use business credit, private lenders, savings, retirement accounts, refinances from other properties you may own, lines of credit, hopefully business lines of credit so you don't have a negative impact on your debt to credit ratio, equity partners, and so forth, right? So that can cover anywhere from 30% of the purchase price, more or less, okay? Or yeah, pretty much 30%. Now, this is why I say this. So let me backtrack. If a mortgage covers 80%, and let's say you're not doing seller financing because you don't have the experience, your first deal is a 4 unit. So you might be thinking, well, the mortgage covers 80%, then I just got to bring 20% to the table. No, I say 30%. Why? Because you can want to have capital for down payment, soft costs. Soft costs are costs that you incur before you close, closing costs, and reserves. That's the reason why. Okay. And if you're using hard money, that covers about 70% of the ARV, often used with business credit. So make sure you qualify for a mortgage after repairs are done. And this is the thing. I want you to focus on, my friend, on yield plays over value plays. A yield play is you're buying a property. Once you close, you're yielding cash flow. Cash at closing. Value play is when you buy a distressed asset, you got to add value, you got to do repairs and so forth. So if you're getting started, just follow my approach. Again, you can take what I say for a grain of salt, but I rather, even still now, I prefer yield plays. I'm going to buy a property, a sound investment that's producing cash flow as soon as I close. Got it? All right, cool. Let's get into phase 2. So write this down. We just finished phase 1, find the money. Now we're in phase 2, find the deal. Okay. So while injured, right, when I ruptured my Achilles, right after the crash, I was, just give you more insight, right? When I said I couldn't walk. So of course I was frustrated too. I'm like, how can I still do properties? How can I raise capital? How can I look at deals if I can't even walk? I was frustrated, but then bam, the light bulb came off. Oh man, I don't have to be the one bringing the money to the table. I just got to use leverage. So that's why I got this thick stack here. It's simply because I would apply for a round of business credit every 3 to 6 months. I had a business credit coach who shared me what I had to do, such as, hey, file your company in another state. Like Florida, for example, is lender friendly. So he's like, hey, well, make sure your business, let's say I filed in New Jersey, got an LLC in Jersey. I fill out some paperwork for about $100, saying that my business can now do business in Florida, for example. That's called foreign file. You're filing in another state. So I did that and got more capital. Then I got some information about, hey, well, pay down your Bank of America credit card about $1,300. Hey, by the way, do this, do that. He advised me every step of the way. Okay. So I applied for business credit, and every time I got a round of business credit, that would be pretty much the capital I would use for my next deal. That's why I said it's called the cash flow cycle. I apply for the money, find the deal, and I was keep doing it over and over and over. Okay. And I did whatever my business credit coach told me to do. And as soon as I received the business credit, I began the liquidation process. So fortunately, you just can't go to a closing and say, hey, I'm just going to swipe my credit card to buy this property, right? You got to liquidate it. You got to convert to cash. So we provide this information to all who apply for business credit. So just make sure you apply if you want to have the 7 steps of how you liquidate it. So I repeat this process every 6 months. So you might be thinking seasoning requirements. What does that mean? Well, most people think, well, to get business credit, does that mean you got to have a business incorporated for 2 years? Do I also have to provide profit and loss statements? Do I also have to provide merchant account statements and bank statements? Not really. You can get business credit without those requirements, but it is predicated upon a requirement of you having a 680 credit score or higher. Okay. So unless you do have those credibility factors, if you do have a business that's seasoned, if you do have P&L statements and bank accounts, business checking accounts that prove your capital, then you might not have to go the personal guarantee route. But if you don't have those things like I did, then you can go the business credit with personal guarantee route. Okay. Then I provided my bank statements and credit reports to agents and wholesalers. And I found online with my 3 M's: money, market, model. Hey, here's my money. I got 40,000. I want to invest in this market using the buy and hold model. Okay. So not to get too specific. I know that seems very broad, but just make sure I'm good on time. So I have more information to really get intensive and break this stuff down. So they diligently, meaning the agents and the wholesalers, search for properties that fit my pockets. It's like throwing a dog a bone. It's like once the agent or wholesaler realizes that, oh snap, this person does have the capital, it's time to sick it, right? It's time to fetch. Give me that deal and make it sweet, make it juicy. Okay. And then make sure that those deals fit my three criteria. Has the cash flow, have to buy with built-in equity, and gotta have a nice return on it. Okay. So when they presented me a deal, the agent, for example, I submitted a LOI, that's a letter of intent, negotiated terms such as I want seller financing, I want this price point to be this, blah, blah, blah. I got it fully executed. The AOS, that's the agreement of sale. That means the contract, right? And I put my contingencies in there. I put that in bold because with those contingencies, it's extremely important. That way you can back out of the deal. And I had one client, I remember I was driving from New York, upstate New York to New York City, and some client had my cell phone number. I don't know how she got it. Kudos to her, right? She reached out to me. Well, she's not a client, actually. She's just someone who watches the YouTube videos, right? She said, hey, Juan, I got your number. Hope you don't mind me calling you, but I wanted to reach out to you because I need to back out this deal. The inspection report came back, and man, it has so many repairs. And then the agent says, well, if I back out, I'll lose my hand money, my earnest money deposit. That's like money put down for the house, a good faith deposit. And she's like, is that possible? Is that true? I was like, well, I don't know who you are, but when's the due diligence period? She's like, let me look at the contract. 10 days. I'm like, yeah, you should negotiate 30 days. Why didn't you negotiate 30 days? I didn't know. Did you have these contingencies in place so you can back out and get your money back? No harm, no foul? No. I said, hey, consider it just a tuition you pay for the School of Hard Knocks. But next time, make sure you learn this stuff. Become aware first before you apply. And that's the thing. That's what some people do. They apply first. They do it backwards, right? They apply and then they become aware. That's fine, you know, if you're cool with getting bumps and bruises, but I prefer for you to do it the right way. Don't put the cart before the horse. Become aware, get the knowledge, and then apply it. Okay. Now, next phase, this is phase 3. So write this down. Phase 3 is perform due diligence. You want to trust but verify. In 30 days or less, you want to be able to have your due diligence period, as I shared with you that story. And during due diligence, you want to verify the income, such as the rent roll, leases, third parties, meaning when I'm verifying, let's say it's the revenue, right? I want to look at the documents the seller provide, the leases, the rent roll. The rent roll is just a document that shows the tenant's name, contact information, how much they're paying in rent, their security deposits, stuff like that. Their property address, their unit they're in, all that stuff. Leases is like a long jargon. You know what a lease is. Everyone knows what a lease is. And so I'll compare the listing. This is like a document which shows details about the property that's being sold. So I compare the numbers on the listing, like the rent, let's say it's 70,000 for the year, against the leases. Well, the leases say 64,000 against third party, meaning like Section 8, for example, who might say 65,000. And then if it's inconsistent, I ask the seller for explanations and then I negotiate if the explanation didn't make sense. Okay, so you want to verify the expenses as well. OpEx, that's operating expenses, just in case you're wondering. Okay. And with negotiations, you want to make sure you receive credits or have the seller fix them via an addendum, meaning like an addition to the contract. So I became the coordinator, and this is what you have to be as a real estate investor. You're pretty much the coordinator. You got to make sure the settlement company's up to date with what's going on, the mortgage lender, the agents, the insurance broker. You're pretty much the quarterback feeding everybody information, right? You need to make sure you get updates so that you make sure you're doing your job, especially if you got partners. You need to update them on every step of the process. And by the way, don't be scared of repairs, you know, because sometimes we have clients and we find a property and you see repairs when it comes back on the inspection report and they're like, oh no, I don't want to move forward. I'm like, hey, you can negotiate credits. And hey, the seller don't want to give you credits. Hey, you can make it a requirement the seller has to fix it, and you have to get an inspector back out there or a contractor in which the seller will pay for to verify that it was done in a quality fashion. And last, think of it as value add opportunities. You might be able to do these repairs and fix it up for, let's say, 3,000, but you might be able to increase the rent by an additional $75 a month, which impacts your bottom line. That's a value add opportunity, right? It's all about how you think about it. And by the way, if you don't like what you see, and if the seller's unwilling to budge, and it's prior to the due diligence date, unlike that lady I just shared with you who called me when I was on that road trip, you can back out of the deal. Now, you may incur some sunk costs, such as, well, I paid for this inspection and this property is crap. I'm not able to get that $1,800 back I paid for the inspection. Well, that's just the cost of doing business. Like, it's investing. There's going to be risk involved, right? But when there's risk, there's reward. Okay. Now, write this down. We're on phase 4, close the deal. So after you receive the commitment letter, this is from a mortgage company that, hey, you're approved for a mortgage. You ordered appraisal. You decide about the property management. Should you manage it yourself or outsource it? Which I go through in like my trainings about which one should you do. You know, this is more so like give you a basic overflow. So you think this is intense? What do you see in my training? It's definitely not, because you definitely want to know like step-by-step detail how to do it. So that's what I share with you, right? If I'm able to automate this to my team, someone who've never invested in real estate prior to work with me, I have to break down the steps slowly but surely, but step by step, to make it so basic and simple that anyone new and green in real estate can implement. Okay. You also want to obtain rent prorations. That's kind of like what the rent is. Like, let me give you an example. If you close on the 5th of the month, or the 9th of the month, I should say, the first 9 days of the month, the rent gets credited to the seller. The latter 21 days of the month, credit to you as the buyer. You want to make sure that property is 100% occupied. And you want to audit the HUD, check it, because sometimes the closing attorneys make mistakes, right? So you want to make sure you plan a closing date, you coordinate with all parties, like whether it's your partners, the seller, the closing attorney, agents, all that, and ensure the monies are liquid to wire funds prior to closing. Meaning, if you're using business credit, make sure that money's in your account. Sign docs via notary, you can close remote. Because you might be thinking, well, what about times like today? Like if you can't go to closing? Many investors that I know, including myself, are closing remotely, which is very simple. Okay, do it electronically. Also, get hard copies of the leases, service contracts, keys, codes, etc. if you decide to go there in person. If not, have them mail it to you. And when you close on the deal, celebrate good times. Come on, you want to celebrate your success? Tell everybody. Throw a party. Why is that? Because you attract investors. That's how I got private money, right? Not to toot my own horn, but I was tooting my own horn. So when people start realizing, whoa, you close on a 6 unit? Whoa, you close on a 9 unit? You close on an 11 unit? Well, I thought you already had 6 unit. Yeah, I closed on another 6 unit. What, for real? Hey, how can I get down on the next deal? Right? You want to celebrate your success and share your success with everyone for private money. Because that's what I said. They care about credibility. They want to make sure they invest their money with someone who has a proven track record, who knows what they're doing. All right, so my goal. Let me see. You guys have any questions? Let me just take a second. Do you have any questions? Cool about the earnest money. All right, great. All right, let me continue. So my goal. So my goal personally was to replace my paycheck with passive income. And I wanted to buy a property every 6 months in markets that were safe, affordable, with decent returns. That's pretty much my model. Yield play. I want to buy a cash flowing asset that puts cash flow in my pocket to pay my personal bills, but I want to make sure it's in a safe neighborhood, not a bang bang shoot 'em up neighborhood, affordable, not extremely expensive, and have good returns. Again, every round of business credit that I received went towards another deal. And independent of using this for acquisition for buying another property, I also use it, as a safety net, because who knows? Because some people have those reservations. Well, what if you buy a property and the furnace goes out? Well, for one, we said you get an inspection report and you get credits. So you know everything that's wrong with the property before you buy it. And you make sure you fix it up as soon as you receive those credits. But secondly, if that does happen, you still have this as a safety net. Cool, for reserves. And I would take my funding, I divide about 32% to determine my purchase price. So you might be thinking that too. Well, how do you know how big of a deal you can afford? Well, let's say I have $40,000, right? You take, look at my calculator. There it is. I'm old school. Even though I have like 5 devices right now, I have my Mac, my iPad, my iPhone, and I have my PC over here. But I'm still going to do the math. So if I have $40,000 from business credit and divide that by 0.32, that comes out to 125,000. 125,000. Okay. Now the 125,000 is just a quick and dirty analysis just to determine how big of a property I can afford. So I can tell my agents, hey, I got about 40,000. Find me a property with a purchase price of around 125,000. Okay. So I started off with residential since I didn't have the experience, as I shared. I got a duplex first deal at 26, got a single family, and that was my first year. And my second year of investing, I bought zero because I was using my savings and it took me forever to save $20,000. And then in my third year, my fourth year, I bought a 4-unit. So after I gained the experience, that's when I began to scale and automate and go commercial. So these are some of the deals I closed. So I bought a 4-unit. This is once I started using business credit, by the way. This is when I started using business credit. So I got a 4-unit with a tanning salon for $99,000. That's a mixed use property, right? Still own it. I got a 5-unit for $100,000. The 5-unit is broken down like this. It's a 4-unit, it's a quadplex, and a single family property for $100,000. You heard me use that example before. What? A 4-unit for $100,000? Yep. I sure did. A 4-unit for $100,000. That's not bad at all. Okay. And then I got a 3-unit for $83,000. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. And then I got a 4-unit for 66, 9-unit for 218. Now that duplex I said I bought the first property, I bought that duplex for $355,000. But then I acquired a 9-unit in a different market for 218. Crazy, right? So I have a question for you. Who in here wants to take this to the next level? Do you want to take it to the next level? I'm sure you do. I'm definitely here to help as the people's mentor. Because in 2014, I turned in my 2 weeks notice. And that's when I started 100% finance. And when I turned that 2 weeks notice, I was scared, right? Even though I bought my 9-unit, that's the 9-unit I was telling you about. Still own that as well. And when I bought my 9-unit, it was in February 2014 when I closed. I'm like, oh snap. I got all the passive income I need to quit my job. It's time for me to put my money where my mouth is and turn this 2 week notice. I was terrified, right? Because it was scary but exciting at the same time. I'm like, well, I try to convince myself or lie to myself, like, you know what, Juan? You know what you could do, bro? You can probably work at the job for a little bit longer. You can probably work at the job a little bit longer. You could probably save up a little bit more capital. And I realized, man, if I didn't quit my job like I wanted to, you would not be on this webinar today. I want to help people obtain over 1,000 rental units if I wasn't able to quit my day job and start 100% finance. I won't be able to start these blogs, write books, and actually do things that I actually enjoy if I remain in fear. Okay, so I definitely don't want you to remain in fear as well. So what holds you back? What holds you back is the 40-40-40 club, man. You're in the wrong club. So some of you are like, well, first off, ain't no one in the club right now, unfortunately, but you get my drift. I don't want you to be in a 40-hour, 40-40-40 club, working 40 hours a week for who knows, 40,000 a year or 40 weeks a year for the next 40 years. That's the wrong club, man. That's the wrong plan. It doesn't equate for passive income. It doesn't equate to you doing what your God-given abilities are. It's not going to allow you to give back to humanity in the way that you want to. We're all here on this earth for a reason, to give to your fellow man, right? And time, so you might be thinking, oh, time holds me back, Juan. Especially right now, being quarantined, man, I got 5 kids in my house running around. I got my wife or my husband, this and this. I don't got the time for it. Or money. Man, I don't got the money for it, Juan. I don't got money laying around like that. I got bills, right? And it's uncertain times. I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm just afraid in these uncertain times. I'm afraid to invest. I'm afraid about what's going on in the market, in the industries. But hey, you want pretty credit, you want funding, you want multi-units, you want financial freedom, you want happiness, you want to pursue your purpose, don't you? Because I get that all the time. I'm human. I struggle with the same thing. A part of me wants safety and security, and a part of me wants freedom. But guess what? There doesn't have to be a dichotomy between the two. You can have them both, right? What's holding you back, my friend, is excuses. Is what you want versus excuses. You want travel, you want to give, you want to be social, you want toys, you want freedom. Hopefully be able to travel soon when this thing is over, right? This pandemic. But the excuses, oh, I don't have the enough knowledge. I got to read more. I got to study more. Be a career student. Oh, my demographics is because of my skin color, my age, my gender. I don't have the time because I got so much stuff on my plate. I don't got the money because I got other bills I got to pay. My associates won't allow it. My wife, my husband, my friends. It may not work. What if it doesn't work? So by the way, guys, education doesn't stop. This is a process. It requires commitment. Just remember the 30%. You heard that old adage before. Nothing worth having come easy. Not saying it has to be extremely hard, but you can do it. So here's one of our students here. He's in our MAP program as well. He said he got 3 of his homeboys. So I call them my homeboys, my money team. He applied for business credit, got 6 cars on his first round for a total of 20,000. Here he goes again. We got Seth here. He got house number 5 on the contract for 42. Okay, that's me giving him congrats. All right, this is Brittany. Shout out to Brittany. She's in Atlanta, Georgia now. From New York. She said she wanted to share that last April, I received my first round of business credit for $32,500. That's not bad. And she received increases. So we teach you how to increase those cars too, with no extra fee. So you can get more business credit available for you. Now it has almost 50,000 in 7 months, thanks to the 100% finance team. Okay, so here's the truth. You say, I don't have the money. Yeah, yes, you do. Business credit. You just got to apply for it. You can apply for it on our website, 100percentfinance.com. You do have the money, right? You can't let that excuse to hold you back. There's no multi-units in my market. Well, you can invest out of state. That's what happened with me. I was investing in the New York, New Jersey area. Now, don't get me wrong, there's multi-units in that market. But in my case, there weren't affordable multi-units. The reason why I got that duplex for $350,000, I think it was $355,000, is because I only had to put 3.5% down. That was FHA. Now, to get another deal in that same market, I'll have to put 20% down. What's 20% of $350,000? That's $70,000. I didn't have that. So I began to become a long distance investor, which is perfectly doable because we're in a time and age where there's technology at our fingertips, there's knowledge at our fingertips. You can be a real estate investor long distance, and that's what I teach. Okay, proven process. Or I don't have a team. Build one. Everyone getting started didn't just start off with a team in their back pocket. They had to build one. You can do it. Okay. I don't have the credit. Well, repair it. If you don't have the credit, as a result, you have negative items, bankruptcies, foreclosures, collections, and so forth. Sign up for credit repair. We have these resources on our website. I can't qualify for a mortgage. Low doc. They have lower qualifications. What's the catch, Juan? Well, the interest rate may be a little bit higher. The interest rate may be a little bit higher. Why? Because as you shared, you don't have the qualification to go conventional. There's more risk. Well, more risk becomes a higher interest rate. But as long as that deal still works and still cash flows, then by all means move forward. I don't have the time, Juan. You got to make the time. You want to know how you can tell what's important in someone's life? What's a priority in someone's life? Check out their 2 C's, their checkbook and their calendar. What are you spending all your money on, and what are you spending all your time on? If you know what's popping with Housewives of Atlanta, if you know what's going on Netflix, you didn't watch every single series, you know what's going on with all these shows or anything of that nature, just hanging out, you just got to get your priorities straight. And this is one of the things I did. I said, okay, I can probably do 12 to 15 hours a week. If I spend an hour each morning doing real estate investing activities, maybe 30 minutes during my lunch hour at work, and an hour when I get home from work, that's 2.5 hours right there. So if I did that 4 days during the week, that's 10 hours right there. And if I spend Saturday working from noon to 5 p.m., that's 5 hours right there. That's 15 hours just doing that. You got the time. The thing that you lack is not time, it's just the time management piece, right? You just probably haven't taken the course yet of time management, which I teach as well. So you might be thinking this too. Well, Juan, there's no point in doing real estate investing during uncertain times. I don't know where this is going to lead, this pandemic. What's the point? I have to say this, get ready. If you get ready, if you stay ready, you'll never have to get ready, right? So if you become prepared now in which you're acquiring the knowledge, the know-how, you're doing the studying ASAP, meaning today, then by the time we're able to get back in there, as I said, I have a deal closing this Friday, right? We've got another deal on the contract this week. So people are innovative. They're able to innovate. Like I have, well, I'll share that later. But I have people on my team, real estate professionals, who are being innovative to still do business because they still got bills to pay. You think they're just going to sit back and twiddle their thumbs while all this stuff is happening? No, their brain is working and still thinking of how can they still do business, right? So what you should be doing right now is getting your learning on now, becoming aware so you can apply it, the application in the near future. So let me ask you, who's excited, right? Who wants to get started right now? Okay, I see a few people. All right, cool. People joining too. All right, good. You guys got new people joining. I'm excited for you. I'm excited. I'm excited. So here's what you're going to get, right? So phase one, find the money. So I'm basing this off the map. Some of you guys might be familiar with their done for you service, which is the multi-unit acquisition program. That means we obtain a multi-unit for you and do all the work. Phase one costs $2,000. And some of you guys can vouch for it. If you guys apply for the map, got a proposal, fact check it, right? It's $2,000 value because we do this as a service, meaning you don't have to lift a finger. But that's not what is it going to be for you today, of course. Phase two is find the deal, $2,500 value. Phase three, due diligence, $3,000 value. Why is phase three the most? Because that's the most meticulous, time-consuming part. That's when you have to dot every I, cross every T. You got to verify every single number on that listing, go back and forth about explanations, negotiating credit. That's why that part is the most expensive. Closing the deal, about $1,000. The vendor list. So we also give you a list to our vendors. Hey, Juan, if I want to invest in your market, what agents do you use, or what financing do you use, or who do you use for lending? That's valuable right there. We kissed all the frogs to find the right print, so you don't have to, right? And wholesaling real estate live training. So that's what I'm providing as a bonus, as a special offer. I'm going to be doing a live training in May, okay, about how you can start wholesaling virtually. Like this deal that we're closing on this Friday, did I go meet the seller in person? Did I go driving for dollars in person? No, you see, I'm a busy guy. I got other stuff to do. Right? So you have a system in place in which you can do this stuff virtually. And the average wholesaler makes about $5,000 per deal. Do you think this is going to be a $5,000 program? No. And you get 40 hours of content, 40 hours. So this is content that I recorded. It's more than 40. This is 40 hours of new content I've created within the past weeks, okay? $5,000 value. So you get all my real estate tools, the deal analyzer, So you learn how to analyze deals, letter of intents, promissory notes, the scripts to use, the whole 9 yards. Again, it's all documented, it's automated. Unlimited Q&A support with me. You might be thinking, well, I got this deal in the contract, Juan. I need to pick your brain. Well, yeah, that's the point. We have closed groups for that, right? Because I don't want to just you just be on your own, just left hanging, just hanging out there to dry. I want to make sure you get the support you need. Okay. If you add it up, it's 20,000. If you don't believe me, check it out on our map. If you go to 100finance.com, which we have people sign up for it, it's 8,500 up front, and it's 6,500 on the back end. So that's 15,000. And the wholesaling training is at least 5,000. You can do the math. 20,000 in value, right? So just take action. So until Sunday, right, April 12th. And by the way, if you saw typos and all that stuff, I'm not a literary or grammatical genius. I have people who do all that stuff for me. I can care less about spelling and quotations. None of that stuff matters. But until Sunday, April 12th at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time, for the next 30 people, on the website you might see 100. I put 30 because we're going to do this in multiple phases. So this is phase 1, right? With you guys here, 30 people. And then phase 2, 30 people. Phase 3, we'll get the rest of them. So about 100 people max. Get started today for $497. So we pretty much took all of, dang, I just thought about it. I've been invested for 10 years, since 2010. You get 10 years of everything I've learned, and I did all the trial and error, kissed all the frogs to find the right princess, set up the systems and processes, and simplified it for you to apply for just $497. That's extremely affordable. And you can get started now. Just go to 100%finance.com/course-internal, because it's all of our internal processes on how to buy a multi-unit property available to you. Okay, so we have a match room for 100 altogether, but 30 get the best price, right, for the first round, which is the one we're doing today. So visit our MIT 2.0 to prepare. MIT stands for the multi-unit intensive trainings. You might say intensive. Well, will I be able to get this? Yeah, it's intensive because it's detailed. Because I want anyone who's brand new to be able to get it and apply it. I want to make the knowledge extremely applicable. So simplified, but it's intensive. As I shared, it's over 40 hours for you to go through to execute all of these things. And use this extra time you may have work from home, right? So that you can prepare for the point where you can actually get started with this right away. And if you're affected economically about what's going on, or if you need additional capital for real estate, then apply for business credit. So we had some people who apply for business credit. They might say, yeah, I'm so interested, but I lost my job, right? And I still need some funds to hold me until I get back on my feet. Use business credit. As I shared, it's great for acquisition, acquiring properties, but also good for reserves. They're credit cards. The lines don't show up on your personal credit. They're business credit, hence the word. They're not personal credit cards. So they won't have an impact on your debt to credit ratio or debt to income ratio. But you can use this as a safety net. So apply for 100%, apply for business credit at 100%finance.com. Okay. And I say apply even if you don't think you qualify, because we're here to provide solutions for you, right? Give you options. So we're able to consult you, but we're not able to consult you unless you know what you have to do if you don't apply. So apply and we'll consult you on what you need to do. Okay. And again, they can be used for anything. You just go to 100%finance.com/business-credit-1. Links are there. Okay. All right, great. So you need multi-units and funding. So the question is, should you do DIY or DFY? DIY is do yourself. That's the MIT. Done for you is the MAP, MAP. The MAP is we do all the process for you. That's why I share it's the 15,000 program. Because we have people who are probably on this webinar now can attest to it. And if so, please leave a comment if you close on the deal through our MAP. And the DIY is the MIT, which I'm presenting with you today for $497. So the multi-unit intensive training, here's the link here. So you may not have the team or the know-how investing in multi-units, but you'll learn the 4 phases in detail of the cash flow cycle. It's simple, but intense. We find deals. You'll be able to find deals that fit your pockets and meet the 3 criteria: cash flow, built-in equity, and have great returns. And we build a team, kiss all the fraud, set up the systems for you to model. You own the asset 100%. You learn how to do it on your own so you can automate it. And with business credit, they're business lines of credit or credit cards. So you might say, well, hey, how do I get a line of credit? Like a checkbook. You got to make sure you have a business where you can prove that you've earned at least $350,000 in revenue. Okay. But if you don't have that, no worries. I didn't have that starting off either. Now I do, which is amazing to say, over $1 million. But at the point when I first did it, I didn't. But we present with you your options. Okay. And everyone who gets awarded with business credit receives the information on how to convert this to cash. And no business seasoning is required and doesn't show up on your credit, but banks do like to see your credit report. Okay. Because it's kind of like the old adage, if you're faithful with a few, you rule over much. If you're faithful with your personal credit, more than likely you'll be good with business credit as well. Okay. You can apply for business credit there. All right. So let me show you a quick little snapshot. So here's a business credit webpage. Okay. So you see it here, limited time offer. You want to make sure you get access to this $5,000 a month wholesaling from home course. So I'm going to share with you how you can wholesale from home and make $5,000 a month by doing this stuff remotely, by having systems in place. Not you driving for dollars, not you necessarily sending out yellow letters either. Those things are antiquated. Not say it doesn't work, it's antiquated. It's not as innovative. There's a way that you can just reach out to motivated sellers who need to sell, especially in times like these, right? And be able to get in contact with them and wholesale without necessarily having to build a buyer's list. Okay, just truly automating this process. So you just gotta go here. Here's a website. That's me telling about the program, some information here with how the MIT works. You just have to click on the button for sign up now. Cool. And it comes with 100 PF Gold, which is a bonus material as well, content. Very simple for you guys. And let's look at the back office. So you might be saying, well, I want to get a snapshot of what's included in MIT. So I'm logging in here. Okay. And you can book a strategy call with one of our cash flow advisors if you need some assistance. Okay. Now, all right, let's show you here. This is some bonus material here. But as I share, I got the Quit Your Day Job book as well. Here it is here. It's updated. The ebook and the audiobook is in here. We got some more courses here. 100PF TV is additional content for you, deal presentations, other services for you to apply for, the whole 9 yards. This will be your back office, right? Because you might be thinking, well, I need some more support. I need to get some resources and so forth. All this stuff is here. Share Hub, that's where Deal Analyzer and all that stuff is at. So you might be saying, well, let me take a look at the MIT one. So we're going to go here. Okay.
Hey, what's going on, friend? This is Juan Pablo.
This is me showing you the background of it. But here's all the content here. So we got the curriculum here, so you know exactly what's included, step by step. Phase 1. All right, you see all the good stuff here, goodies here. So get started with phase 1. Now here's all the stuff in phase 1. Video 1, hour and a half. Fun and Money part 1. Fun and Money part 2, 36 minutes. Phase 3, hour and 30 minutes. All you need to know about finding the money, about how to get the capital, all that good stuff. I go in depth. And also the bonus material, how to convert to cash is right here. How to get general partner, how to be a general partner. So you might be thinking, well, I want to get a general partner. I want to do a limited partnership one where I can syndicate deals. The content's right here, 50 minutes, right? And the bonus stuff, how you get credit line increases. Quick script right here, 3 minutes. And we got quizzes that test your knowledge. And we have additional resources, the resignation letter, ebook, promissory notes for your private money, personal financial statements. A lot of good, juicy stuff. Then we have a lot more. Phase 2, Find the Deal, which is here. Hour and 20 minutes about this video, whole bunch of resources, how to analyze a deal using Deal Analyzer, how to audit a letter of intent, how to analyze a multi-unit deal from a commercial real estate agent. All this stuff is live, and these are real deals, right, that I've done for myself as well as for a lot of my students. Bonuses, how to review your assignment agreement of sale, which is your purchase and sale agreement, your contract for accuracy. and double your paycheck. So a whole bunch of resources, guys, for all the phases. But let me get back in here. Okay, so let's open up the floor for a few questions. Let's see what questions you guys have. Okay, let's see what you got. Just reading right now. Okay. Okay, so for business credit, the credit score is pretty much a 680. A 680, right? Now for mortgages, if you're interested in knowing about, well, what's the typical score for that? For investment, we like to see a 680 as well, but as low as 640. And we typically take the middle score for that average. Good question. Another one. Is the replay going to be on YouTube? Caught the first part, we didn't get the next. Still up in the air. Still not sure about the replay. Is it complicated process to liquidate the cards? It is. It is. You got to do it correctly, right? Because man, this is the thing. Like I share people stuff, and they just don't do it. I'm like, you got to do it, man. I'm telling you from experience. I learned the hard way, so you don't have to, right? Some person was like, yeah, man, I don't know what to do, Juan. I'm reaching out to you because I was trying to liquidate this car. I got this closing next week, and my account got frozen. I'm like, well, what do you use? PayPal. Bro, I told you not to use PayPal. Yeah, but no, it's a step-by-step process, right, for you to do. Great questions, great questions. So want to sign up now? I definitely want you to move forward. You just go to our website. You can click on the Invest tab to find MIT 2.0 and the Borrow tab for business credit. So who in here used those services and got results? So if you can leave a comment, I would greatly appreciate that. And the party is almost over. I says over, it's almost over. So we got to prepare for our next event and service for our new team members. All right, so here's the womensinfinance.com. So stick around for the bonus. So here's the bonus material. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about what's going on in today's industry, today's market, okay? All right, 1 second. All right, so before I get into the bonus, my question is, who in here wants to take it to the next level? So I can present this offer to you guys. So definitely want you to take this to the next level, okay? All right, so let's get into the bonus, right? Now with the bonus, this is mainly about what's going on today's time. So this is not 2008, meaning in 2008, it was a housing market crash. You guys follow? That's when people were giving out certain type of mortgage products and so forth with variable interest rates and all that stuff. This is not 2008. So it was a different market then as it is now. Totally different. So there's no issues with the mortgage system as it was in 2008. There's no over leveraged homeowners in today's market as it was in 2008 with excess inventory. But basically, as you probably guessed it, office space, restaurants, etc., clubs, lounges, they're being impacted financially, but not the residential housing market. As you can tell, most people are instructed to stay at home. Now, the only people that may be impacted are those who were pretty much out of work as a result of the pandemic. But overall, not too much. Okay. Section 8 is still paying the rent. So I had a student ask me this, I think it was 2 days ago. Like, hey, Juan, like, well, what about people not paying rent? Because I heard they instituted some laws that you can't do any evictions and so forth during this pandemic, which may be the case, yes, in certain markets. However, if you have Section 8 tenants like I do, this is what this model is based off of. When you go through MIT, it's all based upon C areas. C is for cash flow, okay? C areas in which there's low income, low crime, Section 8 is great. That's the whole MIT is focused on that business model. So when you have Section 8 tenants, the government is still fitting the bill. And it's the same with me. I have a ton of Section 8 tenants. Almost all my tenants are Section 8. Some of them are Section 8 and pay a little bit out of pocket, but majority of their rent comes from Section 8. So I'm still receiving my rent. As of April 1, I received my rent. That's the point. You want to be able to take a a safer, again, I love yield plays. I want a safe investment. I want the government paying my tenant's rent and not necessarily my tenant. And I know there's the stigma with Section 8. Some people think, oh, they're bad tenants. No, that's not the case. Just because they're in Section 8 doesn't mean they're going to be horrible tenants. In fact, I appreciate Section 8 because of the guaranteed money, the rent, but it's all based upon your property management. You got to have proper property management in place. And as I shared a little bit earlier, the real estate professionals, they're innovative. Like, case in point. So I'm talking to my agents, right? Because we have people on the MAP program in which we do this service for them. So I got to keep my ears to the streets. So I'm like, hey, so tell me what's going on in the market that we're investing in. I'm like, so how are agents going to list properties and so forth so people can see it if you're not doing any, showings and what have you? They're like, oh, we're doing Zooms. Oh, clever. Now, what about, I talked to my mortgage lender. So when you get that mortgage commitment letter, right, and you got the appraisal, like, how do you know if how can you do an appraisal if you don't go in there and check out the unit? They're doing drive-by appraisals, right? And I said, okay, cool. Let me talk to my other lenders and my settlement companies. Are you guys still open for business? Yeah, we're just working remotely. How are you doing closings? We're just doing remote closings, right? It's that simple. That simple. Okay. 1 second. So let me see if you guys have any questions. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. Got a couple of people joining. Okay, it's a complicated process. No, I answered that one. All right, cool. So I'll continue. All right, great. So so the real estate professionals are being innovative right now. Because you just got to think about it. You think they're actually they're real estate professionals. Most of these guys are entrepreneurs like yourself. They're business people. You think they're just going to sit back and just accept a beating financially as a result of what's going on in today's market? No, they're going to be innovative. They're going to figure out a way to conduct business as usual. They too, just like yourself, have mouths to feed. Right? Like, come on. Okay. All right, cool, man. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the comments. Okay, so back to this, right? This is an economist from Goldman. He believes the GDP, the gross domestic product, right, will be at its worst in Q2, but its biggest increase in Q3. So they're forecasting a huge bounce back, like a V. Like the market takes a Q2, then Q3, let's say by when is Q3? April, May, June, so July, it will bounce back up. So hopefully that's the case. That's what they're predicting. So this is a health crisis, ladies and gentlemen, and not a housing crisis. This is a momentary event in time. But what about non-paying tenants? As I shared, Section 8 is paying their rent. So you want to make sure you focus on those properties in which they have Section 8 tenants in them. Okay. Now, there are some other options, the EIDL and PPP. So you might be thinking, well, what does that mean? Well, if you are a current real estate property owner, and let's say you have cash paying tenants, but let's say you have a team in which you have property management in place, admin, bookkeepers, and so forth, you can get grants from, or even loans from the SBA, it's the Small Business Administration, to help hold you down for payroll and operating expenses. That's what OPEX is for. So just check that out. You can do some online research if you're in that situation to learn more. If you are an independent contractor, because you might be an agent, you might be saying, "Oh man, I'm out of work." Well, for one, be innovative, right? Do some showings if possible through Zoom, and B, apply for PPP. That's the payroll payment plan. It's all on SBA's website. Just check it out. Okay. However, there may be more recessions in the future. That's what you gotta understand, guys. There's always going to be recessions. Always. There's always going to be cases in which people lose their shirt, but don't let it be you. Choose not to participate. Obtain passive income, multiple streams of income, and have reserves. These are the answers to hold you down during uncertain times. Not working for one employer and calling it a day. That opens you up to risk. That's not recession proof. Having multiple streams of income and reserves, right? Cash, as well as available lines of credit, credit cards. That is what's going to hold you down in uncertain times. And if you're affected economically, my heart goes out to you. But about what's going on, if you need capital, make sure you apply for business credit. Apply for business credit again, even if you don't qualify. Because I get that. Well, I got a 610 credit score, I'm not going to apply. No, you might have a 610 on one bureau, but hey, when you're Equifax, you might have a 680. You might apply. And at the end of the day, if you apply, you're getting free advice. You're getting options of what you should do. Why not do it? They can be applied for anything. Business credit can be applied for business use, or business credit can be used for personal use. So here's the bonus. Added bonus to MIT, right? I'm doing this live training in May. Similar to how you see MIT with all those videos that I've done personally, I'm doing the same thing for this course. So you get to speak to me live on this webinar. How to make $5,000 per month wholesaling real estate from home. This offer is only for those who purchase MIT today at the latest Sunday. Otherwise, you buy MIT, you're just getting MIT, which is a great value, as you can see, but you won't be able to get information about the wholesaling course. Okay, it's only a special promotion because it's uncertain times. So the cost of this wholesaling program is equal to the cost of MIT, along with some extra bonuses, right? Section 8 is still paying their rent, as I shared. Real estate professionals are innovative, as I shared. Wholesaling real estate course includes a live webinar with JP in May. This will be recorded, by the way. So just in case you say, well, I am working one, I won't be able to attend. It's all going to be recorded, just like you saw MIT, right? But it will be live, just in case you want to join live and ask me questions. You'll learn the exact process I use from A to Z. I'm very meticulous when it comes to providing content because I want to make sure you get it. Again, I have to be the same way as a business owner. You can have a 7-figure business if you're giving your team vague processes, ill-defined processes, right? Because in order to have $1 million you got to use systems and teams to scale. So if I've done this for the map, you're getting the map in MIT, but you get to apply it yourself in a simplified fashion. You're getting all the scripts, templated documents like the purchase sale agreement, how to build your buyers list, everything. And if you don't act now, then this bonus course will be sold separately in the future. Okay, it's only a special promotion because of the uncertain times we have now. And just go to our website, 100percentfinance.com. So I want to make sure you take action until Sunday, April 12th, 11:59 p.m. And for the next 30 people, get started now with MIT today, $497. You just go to our website. So the max room is 100. Again, I'm gonna do different waves, but after that, that's it. But it's not all those waves are not going to include the wholesaling program. Okay, so visit our MIT to prepare and use this extra time you have now, and not to watch Netflix, right? Not to quarantine and chill, but to quarantine and study, learn this stuff. Okay, and if you're affected economically by what's going on, or if you want to use business credit to acquire MIT, then make sure you apply for business credit. Okay, thank you. Now, for those of you, I'll just show you again. Our website is 100percentfinance.com. If you go to invest, you can click on here, DIY real estate coaching.
Hey, what's up, Mom?
Here's me, and here's information about MIT to sign up. And for business credit, you go to borrow, go to business credit cards, and you can apply here, short and sweet application. And these videos that pop up just give you information more about the product, okay? All right, cool. All right, thank you guys for your time. I truly appreciate it. Again, you have until Sunday to get MIT and then be able to get additional information about the live webinar and training I'm gonna do for wholesaling virtually, make $5,000 a month. Okay, great. As always, guys, it's to your success. Continue to earn passively and live passionately. All right. Peace.